Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Pokemon review series. In this episode, we're going over the poster child for Christmas, or one of the first poster children for Christmas, the other being Delibird, and that is the Abomasnow. Now, Abomasnow, pretty interesting Pokemon, and I feel like overlooked by a lot of people. A lot of people really hunt the Delibird, but I think there's some potential here. But let's get right into that. Now, Abomasnow, Slumbering Sleep style, Slumbering Sleep type, pretty typical for ice types in this game. Um, Ingredient Specialist, and it's got the charge strength that's variable with a 4.4% proc rate. That's pretty significant, especially for a 50-minute speed. That's a little bit on the slower side, but that's a pretty high skill trigger rate. But it's nothing to write home about. It's not going to be gaining that much strength off of this skill. Definitely do not invest seeds. It is a ingredient specialist and ingredient specialist first and foremost. Now, 25% ingredient rate is pretty significant, especially when paired with a 50-minute speed, and a 21 size inventory is also pretty significant, especially since it has an evolution that brings it to 26. You can get into the 30s after hours slept with it for inventory space. So this dude's got a pretty decent inventory, pretty decent ingredient rate. The only thing is he spawns at like the worst island. He spawns exclusively at Snowdrop. He shows up at Greengrass during Christmas weeks, but there's no spawn there by default. So there's no Abomasnow to be seen outside of Snowdrop. But he's kind of known because when it comes to Snowdrop, you're looking for eggs. A lot of people like the Delibird, but this guy's ingredient list, it has tomato, egg, mushroom. Now, mushroom, this is a circumstance where I will just say, don't get the mushrooms at all. Mushrooms are a very strong ingredient, but you don't want on the Abomasnow. When you compare across all of the meals in the game, we don't really have much synergy between tomatoes and mushrooms, or potato or eggs and mushrooms. It just kind of gets slapped on there at the end. Doesn't really help anything out. Now, when it comes to eggs and tomatoes, there actually is a meal pretty early on that has just eggs and tomatoes. So by the time that you'd be getting an Abomasnow candidate, you're going to be past the point of making this meal. It's pretty powerful that you make it on its own, but there are better combinations that do that sort of thing with significantly more strength, like Absol with the ABA or AAB. I forget what the combo is for that, but Absol can produce this one, which is like 3/2 times more powerful than what the Melty Omelet Curry is. So you're not really looking to make any synergistic meals with the Abomasnow, but you're more really just looking towards the mono build options, which in this case you're looking at a AAA and ABB. Now, when it comes to tomatoes, it's like the difference is practically negligible between Luxray, Abomasnow, and Victory Bell. It steps off a little bit when you go down to like Mr. Mime and Venusaur and Dugtrio, but for these three, it's pretty much the same. They're all about equally as good as each other for the production. But when it comes to eggs, this is where you really, really would like the Abomasnow. Now, as you can see, eggs, Delibird does it best, and a lot of players hunt the Delibird to no end, thinking that it's going to be their lifeblood, thinking that it'll produce the eggs that they need. But the Delibird's got the 16-pip problem. I've talked about it before, and I'll mention it time and time again. It is a rare 16-pip Pokemon, so catching the Delibird, it's a golden goose hunt. If you catch one, great, use it, go for it. But much more, I feel like more players' egg farmer is going to be in the Abomasnow, since it produces nearly the same amount of eggs. You can see there's only 3 eggs per day difference at base. If we put just ingredient finding M, help speed M, the only difference is like, I guess, 8 eggs per day. But realistically, they're both crossing that threshold of 75 eggs a day in the highest egg requiring meal. So you really don't need necessarily what the Delibird offers, and those extra tomatoes can be a kind of nice little add-on. Extra pot filler. You don't know what you're going to do with them, but you're still getting the eggs that you need with the Abomasnow, and you can just catch way more Snover to get the right subskills and nature that you want, accompanied by the ABB list Additionally, ABB is a much more common list than AAA. Twice as common. It's 1 in 9 versus 2 in 9. So you're just going to have much better odds of catching a good Snover than you ever will of catching a good delibird. And delibird costs more. So I suggest this guy to be everyone's go-to egg farmer. The only problem with him is, like I said, unless it's Christmas, you got to be hunting him at Snowdrop, which is very unfortunate because it is currently like the worst island in the game, and continues to be that way. It's getting a little bit better, but it's a bad island overall. So if you really want eggs, then this is the guy to go for. If you want tomatoes, then go for any of those other guys. I mean, Victory Bell is a pretty common spawn. Even Mr. Mime's a pretty, like, it's not a common spawn, but it exists at Cyan. Victory Bell's at a lot of the islands. Luxray's at the Old Gold Power Plant if you're that high of a tier. You can find other tomato farmers. So if you're focusing in on the Abomasnow, really be doing it for the eggs, because it's the only thing that it can do that a lot of these other Pokemon can't. And like I said, Mushroom is just not good. So yeah, if you have enjoyed the video, maybe learned something, then be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And as always, I thank you guys for watching and hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.